Bro, I had girls, they DM'd me first, things happened, and they later told me if I reached out to them first, they would have never
A
met
hundred
me in the
percent. Yes, 100%.
when I heard this for the first place, I was mind blown. I was like, wow, this we have the same book in the background.
It's funny.
That's quite a coincidence.
Oh, you
Yeah.
have Dan's
We
book? Yeah. Hey, when you come out here, man, I'll try to introduce you to him when if you come out here to Vegas. He lives
yeah, yeah.
he lives he and I we're working on a project together right now. Yeah, I was the first guy to finish that book, and then I interviewed him like right afterwards. And we're gonna do another one. He's coming out with a new product, and I'm gonna interview him again for his new product.
Is it public what it's going to be, or
No,
you can tell them?
I'm not going to go too far into it. What I'm saying is Dan has coached a few people and he's had a lot of success with them, and he wants to turn that into something where he can give back to a lot of guys. What he said was like there's nobody out there standing up for the ugly guy, right? That's what when he explained it to me. The guys he's got working with him are all geniuses. They're absolutely top tier dudes. So I'm excited to see. To be fair, if Dan Bilzerian sat there and talked for half an hour about crazy that he's seen, I would pay for that product. I would pay $97 a month just to hear him, just his fucking stories that nobody else got to hear, because I've heard his stories sitting at his place. And it's kind of a weird way to explain it. If you guys have ever been in the military, you know there's one crotchety NCO who's been in the military for 20 years, and those guys always tell the best stories. That's Dan. Dan just tells the best stories. So when his product comes out, I'm actually really looking forward to being a part of it and to watching the whole thing.
This book, I've read this like 4 times.
Yes.
Like,
So you get it. Like, obviously, listening to you talk, it's clear to me that you kind of get what he gets. A lot of people are like, well, he's got money, and that's the reason why he's successful with women. And if you've hung out with him, you realize that's actually not why. It's just he creates so much fucking psychological pressure with women to get his attention because there's other women trying to get his attention. Like, that's the best way to explain it. So because I host Paradise Challenge and I host Swimsuit USA's World Championship, and because I host the Girls of Summer Bikini Competition, I've experienced that to a microcosm. Not to the extent he has. I don't have a $60 million mansion. Like, not quite to the extent that he has, but I've experienced that, so I know it's true. Like, it's one of these things where, like, you can crank up pre-selection to a point to where like women don't even realize they're attracted to you and they're following you around. It's one of the weirdest things ever. But Dan explains that. It's almost like he's an experimental physicist, and like he takes the pre-selection like mate choice copying concept to the furthest extent to see if it breaks, if the concept ever breaks. And bro, it never breaks. Like, if you've been with a million women, another million women want to sleep with you. It's one of the weirdest things ever. But when you hear him explain it, it just makes way more sense.
it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like in terms of dating or in terms of like literally any area of your life. Like if you implement the systems he does in the book, you can become rich, or you can achieve like anything you want. It's like you force things to have like a goal that you have is like you leave no chance of it not happening when you do certain steps. That's what the setup is about.
Speaking of that, there's something that Dan does where he has women co-sign for him and other women show up. There's something I do. I recommend guys have. I was joking the other day. I was like, every guy needs a female friend who he's not sleeping with, who's a complete and total slut. And she just shows him all the text messages and she's like, yeah, I got this guy wrapped around my finger and this mother paid my rent, and he thinks that I'm not sleeping with this guy, but I'm sleeping with his brother and all this kind of. Every guy needs one girl like that in their life. So just to kind of like, this is why I see guys who have a lot of sisters, they tend to do better with women because they can see like the truth. I also recommend guys have a lot of female teammates who are always introducing them to other women, always going out with them to events so they get access, and also making them more calibrated with women. I'm just wondering what your opinion is on that.
My assistant, I have a female assistant, and her task is literally, for example, let's say I'm looking to do collaborations. The collaborations you see on social media, for example, her task is reaching out for girls to do the video collaborations at the gym. Like it's such a hack. Like if you want something, let's say you want to party and you want more girls at your parties, instead of you silly reaching out to these girls, just pay a female assistant and have her reaching out.
Yeah.
And you're going to increase your chances by a lot.
I had Masha Daiduk on here. She's a former bikini champion. She won the bikini competition at Wet Republic for $25,000, and she was one of the model managers for Dan Bilzerian. She talked about that also. Another girl, Bianca Gezzi, she's a podcast host. She was another one of the model managers for Dan Bilzerian. So instead of Dan reaching out and do it, he had women do it. It's just something that I found. I have two when I was single, I had two really, really awesome wingmen, CJ Sparks and Kindly Myers. If I liked a girl, I would just tell them, and then they would just go talk to her. And then when I walked up, they'd already big up to me so much. It just made things so much easier. So I think having female teammates is probably one of the biggest cheat codes. And the reason why it's a big cheat code, Adolfo, is because so many guys are afraid to do it because they've been put in the friend zone by women. And so many guys in red pill and pickup think that men and women can't be friends, which isn't true. And so because they do that, the guys who actually figure this whole thing out, they do really well. And what I want to explain here is I don't mean her put you in the friend zone. That's always bad. I don't care who you are. That's terrible. It's you put her in the friend zone. If you do that, the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit. It's almost like affiliate marketing.
Yes. And even for those guys, if you have that limiting belief that you can't be friends with a girl, fine. Then hire her, like make her your assistant
Exactly.
and pay her. So you're not friends. Like it's a business interaction. So you have no excuse.
You mentioned this briefly as like simps that leave these comments. I'll make something where I hold people accountable, and I'll have these like white knight simps that'll leave comments on there talking shit. And I just want to grab them and be like, bro, she's not going to have sex with you just because you left that comment. Have you had that issue?
Of course, yes. I find it funny that you're able to tell, like, if you really know about this, you're able to tell what comments are from simps and what comments are from someone that's actually dating the girl.
Yeah.
Right. If it's like an emoji with a heart eyes and everything, that's a simp.
Yeah.
Right. But if it's like, I don't know, a girl posts a picture and the guy comments a fish emoji, for example, or a turtle emoji or a giraffe emoji, maybe that guy's like it's like an inside joke with her.
Yeah.
Right. That's something that I personally do. Like I like a tall girl, maybe I'll comment like a giraffe emoji, like it's like our inside joke or something. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of that going on. Don't be creepy with these girls, right? Don't interview them. Then like a couple of hours later, like, hey, you're so pretty. I like talking to you so much. No, okay, like chill. Like if you do this strategy, okay, like you're gonna pump out the content and wait until you have girls reaching out to you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they out about you. They'll reach out to you. Wait for them to take the first step. You don't need to, be using this as an excuse to get girls' Instagrams.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that mistake.
Yeah, I remember Alex playing with fire. He was asking you that question. He was like, "So do you interview these girls and hook up with them?" And I get the question because I host several different bikini competitions. Do you host the bikini competitions and hook up with the girls? And it's the same answer that you give. Like, it's one of these weird things where it's like it's a little different for the competition. If let's say I was hosting a competition and a girl started groping me or like becoming very physically affectionate with me, even if I didn't like her and nothing happened, the other women see it and it makes them feel uncomfortable. So it's one of these things where it's like it needs to feel totally plutonic in the moment, and like you said before, then they will reach out because what's happened is like in your case, you show so much pre-selection with all these women that you walk up to. It's normal. It would be shocking to me if women didn't reach out to you on a regular basis to try to go out with you because they have all these men to pick from, but they see all these women picking you. So that's something that makes it that how you can kind of use a social circle in order to generate pre-selection in order to get people to get women's attention.
Bro, I have girls that they DM'd me first, and like things happen. And they later told me if I reached out to them first, they would have never met me.
100%. Yes, 100%.
When I heard this for the first place, I was mind blown. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So that was the biggest sign for me, like to stop like being so eager and let them come to you. That's all the best strategy.
Yeah, I had Chloe Ture and Corey Yee on here, and both of them said the same thing, that they were like, these are girls, 3 million followers on IG. They're established models, do tons of cover photos, whatever. And they both said the same thing. It was like every guy I've dated, I was the one who approached him. I either slid into his DMs or approached him at the gym. And guys just don't grasp this because like a woman approaching them is so outside of the reality. But what the dudes don't understand is that like there's several different things that you can do. Like we talked about, the beard transplant and getting, and you mentioned before about a body fat percentage and stuff like that. The one that's a freebie that every guy can get is pre-selection. Every guy can get that one. You can get it from having female friends. You can get it from having a hot girlfriend. You can get it from working at a bar with a bunch of beautiful waitresses. Having a bunch of like compliance from beautiful women is an attraction trigger that every guy gets, and they can do it for free. And when you do that, you do it enough, then that's when you start getting women reaching out to you. I mean, you're saying it from your personal experience. I am telling you that also from my personal experience.